What's happening? It's Larry Loudpack bringing you the latest in cannabis news and culture. In here with my man Malik, the manager.
Looking like your uncle at the cookout with the toothpick.
And this is Fuego News. Let's get it. A New York court ruling will block almost half of dispensary licenses from being issued statewide pending a lawsuit regarding out-of-state interests having fair entry into the state's market. New York plans to officially open recreational dispensaries by the end of 2022, which is now just a month away. But a federal judge gave an injunction temporarily barring New York's regulatory board from issuing retail licenses to applicants in 5 regions across the state after a man from Michigan sued the state of New York and the Office of Cannabis Management, claiming they've discriminated against applicants that aren't residents of New York. The 5 regions affected are Brooklyn, Central New York, Finger Lakes, Mid-Hudson, and Western New York, which account for 63 of the state's 150 licenses expected to be issued to social equity applicants through the Conditional Dispensary Program. The suit was filed on September 26th, the day after the window to apply for conditional dispensary licenses closed, and it cites the Constitution's Dormant Commerce Clause that would effectively allow interstate commerce and require all business interests to be treated equally regardless of their place of residence. The clause has been a topic of many discussions and lawsuits recently as states struggle to define the regulations in the new industry. You got to see the reviews that are left on this guy's shit because everybody in New York hates this guy now.
Oh.
Everybody in New York hates this guy. So I Googled his company. It's called
lawsuit filed by Verisight NY1 Incorporated.
Yes, Verisight NY1 is the name of their company, but they didn't file their company until August something of this year, and they're applying for a license coming from out of state, and they're suing the state you guys should have issued me a license.
It sounds like somebody got upset because they didn't get a license.
That's exactly what happened.
Dude got pissed. So now you're gonna spoil it for everybody? This is why everybody can't get invited to the cookout, bro.
Yo, the dude's name is Kenneth Gay.
No comment.
What's really messed up is he was a, quote, social equity applicant. He went to jail for weed, apparently, back in Michigan. So then he came and applied for a license thinking, yo, I went to jail for weed, I should automatically get a license type shit. It's basically a little bitch.
The application was rejected by the OCM, however, because Verisight is 51% owned by an individual who has a cannabis conviction under Michigan law and has no significant connection to New York.
How many fucking millions of people are in New York who deserve the license?
That part.
And actually went through the same shit. It's you're not the only person who caught a weed charge.
Yeah.
And what's really messed up is that he's only affecting social equity applicants.
That part. They had a $200 million social equity fund. It was supposed to help up to 150 rec dispensaries. So they're saying due to him bringing this attention onto just those areas, it might affect the whole state.
It really very well could, because I'm surprised at this point that they have only barred those regions from getting licenses, because there's 14 regions in New York, but only 5 are being affected because those are the 5 where he applied for licenses. Mm-hmm. We go to their Google reviews here. Some group of shady people trying to use shadier legal tactics to corner the market.
Congratulations on making New Yorkers never want to do business with you.
Thank you. Maryland and Missouri both voted to approve recreational use in the midterms, bringing the U.S. to 21 states allowing adult use of cannabis. Although both states approved, they each went about it a little differently. Here's the details. Maryland voters approved a referendum known as Question 4, giving lawmakers the power to establish regulations governing the production and sale of cannabis. Based on House Bill 837, regulations will allow possession of 1.5 ounces of flower, 12 grams of concentrates, and home cultivation of 2 plants beginning in July 2023. The legislation also includes automatic review and expungement of low-level cannabis convictions for residents of the state by July 2024, if the charge was issued before July 2023, and if it was the only charge on the case. The only thing is the General Assembly will need to decide on retail, distribution, and taxation laws, so it's unlikely that recreational dispensaries will be operational in Maryland when possession and use become legal. The Washington Post reports that 3 Maryland counties rank in the U.S. top 10 for highest rates of marijuana possession arrests. In Missouri, voters decided in favor of an Amendment 3, a ballot initiative that legalizes possession, cultivation, and licensed retail sales of cannabis to adults over 21. The Department of Health and Human Services will have regulatory authority over the rec use program and will be responsible for issuing licenses. They started initial work to prepare the rules back in August after it was confirmed that the legalization would be on the ballot. Just 2 days after Missouri voters approved legalization at the ballot, the state released their first draft of regulations for the rec market and opened a public comment period. The initial draft would legalize manufacturing, possession, and consumption, limiting purchases to 3 ounces of flower and allowing home cultivation of up to 6 flowering plants, 6 immature plants, and 6 plants under 14 inches in height. There's no mention of concentrates or processed products in the draft. Amendment 3 will also include expungement of past convictions, but not automatically. It will, quote, allow individuals with certain marijuana-related offenses to petition for release from prison or parole and probation and have their records expunged, end quote. Officials believe that recreational dispensaries could be operational in Missouri as soon as February of 2023, when comprehensive licenses are awarded to existing medical dispensaries, allowing them to sell to adults over 21. John Payne, the campaign director of Legal Missouri 2022, believes that Amendment 3 will put an end to nearly 20,000 minor marijuana arrests annually. That's a lot of arrests.
The license application fee for growers and processors range from $10,000 to $25,000. The license application fee for dispensaries and infused product manufacturing facilities is $6,000 to $10,000.
Okay.
Get in where you fit in with Amendment 3.
Yeah, they were more set up than Maryland was, I think, just because their medical program was a little more popping.
Yeah, they said that started in 2018.
Yeah, medical has been a good transition period for a lot of states.
Yeah.
You know.
Currently, a possession up to 10 grams carries a $100 civil fine, but the decriminalization will be expanded up to 1.5 ounces starting from January 1st to June 30th.
That's why you got to read the fine print.
You got to really pay attention.
Also, another thing to keep in mind, if you are growing plants in Maryland, it's technically illegal for it to be in plain sight. Just pop that shit in the tent, you know what I'm saying? Don't let your neighbor look over the fence on you.
Shout out Maryland and Missouri.
Hey, Roger, keep your ass on the other side of the fence. 5 Texas cities decriminalized cannabis in November's midterm, gaining some ground on the state that's historically one of the most strict in the country. San Marcos, Denton, Elgin, Killeen, and Harker Heights all voted to reduce penalties for low-level marijuana possession, following Austin, which decriminalized in May. This is only possible because these are home rule cities, jurisdictions that are able to create ordinances if they are not explicitly forbidden by Texas or federal law. The cities will no longer issue citations for possession of 4 ounces of cannabis. They also ban the use of city funds and staff for testing substances or people for THC. That's fire. They can't even test you anymore.
In those 5 states, though. Cities, my bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a start. It's Texas. You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
So, if Texas legalizes it, majority, I'd probably say all of the southern states down there are going to probably follow suit.
By the time Texas legalizes, I think we're going to be upper 30s of states that have legalized.
Like 30 plus?
We're at 21 right now.
I'll say probably like 33, 34.
38.
And shout out to the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, because he's actually shown that he wants to lessen the penalties for low-level marijuana possession.
That's
so
dope,
we fuck
man.
With you, Greg.
But I think Austin is the main reason for things starting to look the way that they are, because things are starting to get more liberal from Austin and trying to spread out, you know what I'm saying, like throughout Texas.
Like Silicon Valley.
State troopers discovered over 9,000 pounds of illegal weed during a standard traffic stop in southern Oregon near Eagle Point. Manuel Plasencia was pulled over in Jackson County, Oregon, after several traffic violations while pulling a cargo trailer on State Route 62. Manuel consented to a search after police claimed they smelled weed, and cops proceeded to open the trailer where they didn't have to look far. The trailer was stuffed end to end with 350 garbage bags, filled with turkey bags of weed totaling about 9,000 pounds overall. Law enforcement in Jackson County and Southern Oregon in general have been dealing with an overwhelming amount of illegal grows over the past few years, causing them to declare a state of emergency and call the National Guard to help them with busting the grows.
Jackson got shit cracking right now.
They've been had it cracking. And allegedly, there's a lot of Manuels out there doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. I also remember hearing like 2 years ago, there was police cars that were getting blown up in Southern Oregon after they started busting some of the cartel grows. So they allegedly started retaliating. They started retaliating and blowing shit up. And that's when they called in the National Guard. And that's when they called in backup and shit. State of emergency. National Guard. They was like, yo, we need help.
Because calling a state of emergency for just having a lot of weed sounds crazy.
No, it sounds crazy. But what it really was is I think they were scared for their lives because they knew they were dealing with cartel operations.
Holy shit.
In America, the only thing really stopping people from doing crazy shit is morals. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, motherfuckers could...
That is such a crazy thing to say.
Bro. What?